Okay, favorite books. This one's really hard for me because I am a huge reader, as I've probably talked about before, and so I have tons of books that I really enjoy, and so I really had to narrow them down. Starting off, Harry Potter, obviously. Favorite book, 5th and 7th, probably. I love Dune. I love the Dune series. I think I also talked about loving the Dune TV show or like series that was made, but the books are awesome and amazing and really political, and I love them. I could talk about them for hours. I love me some good Isaac Asimov. I love a lot of fantasy stuff. Like I love Lord of the Rings. I love The Hobbit. I love what's one that I read? I just started the Game of Thrones, but I love it, but just started, so I can't really talk about that one yet. But I've always been a big fantasy fan in movies and books, actually more so in books because you can get so into the politics of it all. Another one of my big favorites right now is the Throne of Glass series. I didn't realize the first one was kind of like, okay. The second one was good. The third one's insane! I actually just finished it like a week ago, so you know when a book's still like fresh in your mind and you're just still like thinking about everything. Oh, so crazy. It's called Air of Fire, and it's just like, boop, boop, everything goes down. I love stuff by Rainbow Rowell. Rainbow Rowell. She does Fangirl and Phone Line or Landline or stuff like that. Everything that she writes is beautiful and magic. Also love Stephanie Perkins. The Infernal Devices series is really fun. That's more like just for fun when you really just, kind of want to zone out on a book series. Okay, if we're on YouTube and we're talking about books, we gotta get into John Green a little bit. Strangely enough, top one's not The Fault in Our Stars. I have to go with Looking for Alaska first. Paper Towns, Abundance of Catherines, because the main guy reminds me almost to a T of my ex-boyfriend. And then Fault in Our Stars. I do love a lot of classics, like Jane Austen has always been one of those things where like I love reading them, but I have to take like a long time to really get through them. But I do love Jane Eyre. Jane Eyre is one of my favorite out of the classics. I'm also really, really into poetry, and I have been for a while. I think it was my dad that originally got me into it. I can't even remember at this point. But favorite poets would have to be Ginsberg. Plath. I love Sylvia Plath so much. She got me through my like feminist phase. I love Rumi. I love pretty much all of the beat poets. Cummings and Eliot, of course. But my favorite book of all time, actually, and that I highly, highly recommend everyone to read is Letters to a Young Poet by Rilke. It's kind of like my Bible. If I really had one, it would be Letters to a Young Poet. Completely put into words all of the thoughts that I had always had in my head and the ideas I'd always had on the universe into one book, and it was stunning, and I love it, and I still love it, and I reread it all the time, and it's like even right here by my head. See, even like look at it so that you know to buy it. Go buy it. Go get that book. Okay, good. Sherlock, I actually went through all the Sherlocks in like 5 months. I read everything Sherlock whatsoever, and I think the reason that I loved it so much, especially being in the hospitals, was just the way that he wrote, the way that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote the books. He is so immersive where like you just forget everything. You're just completely like engaged in the one mystery, and you can't let yourself think about anything else, and it's magic. It really is. I love The Mists of Avalon, which is, okay, so if you guys are in the mood for reading cool stuff, we get some book recommendations while we're here. Read The Mists of Avalon. It's so cool. It's the story of King Arthur, but it's told in the perspective of all the women in the story, and it gives you just a whole new look on everything, and it's beautiful, and it's feminist, but not in like, not in a way that's, like man hate or any of the gross stereotypes around feminism. It's really just looking at the other side of it from a whole different gender. It's really cool. I love Wrinkle in Time. I read that when I was much younger. Kurt Vonnegut's awesome. A lot of, I'm like looking up on my shelf because I can't ever remember stuff that I read until way after. I have read a lot of Shakespeare, weirdly enough, because I did acting for a while. I've been in a bunch of shows. And one of the things when you're doing acting, they have you read so much Shakespeare to like really get like, get into the zone, because he wrote it so well for people who are trying to act. So weirdly enough, I've read a lot of Shakespeare and I love it, but you have to just get in the right like mind frame for it. If I try and read it when I'm like tired, I'm like, All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to like and subscribe and tell me what books you recommend down in the comments below. I'm like actually free. I'm done with high school. I have time to read again and it feels so good. So lay it on me. Bring them all on. I'm ready. Ready. And I'm also going to judge you. The judging never stops.